Thank you very much. This is interview with Wesley. He's one of my my favorite yoga teachers, and his classes are always completely full, and people love him. So let's figure out what's so special about you. Can you tell me how did you start your yoga practice?
I started yoga because I was a marathon runner back in 2000. And a friend of mine suggested Bikram yoga, hot yoga. And runners typically don't stretch, so I was like, I'll give it a try. And I love the sweat, and I sweat. So that's kind of how it happened. Just a friend suggested it, that's it.
Okay, so that brings me a question, what is yoga for you?
What is yoga for me? It used to be working out, sweating. Now it's about calm, no stress. Now that's what it is. It's definitely not so much about physical anymore, although I still love the physical part. It's more about just inner peace and calm now.
And when did it come for you?
That probably started very recently, actually. I've been teaching since 2005, so the less physical, more internal started probably about 5 years ago.
5 years ago?
Yeah.
Wow.
And I don't know why, but it makes sense to me.
So it takes a while.
Well, it could happen sooner for some people. It could happen later, but eventually, if you practice enough, I think it'll be less about the physical than...
And what is it practice enough?
It could be anything. I feel like as a yoga instructor since 2005, what is that, 11 years now?
Yeah.
I still feel like I'm learning.
Still?
Yeah, someone told me a long time ago, it takes about 11 or 12 years to be a really good yoga teacher. And I'm on my 11th year now, and I'm still learning. So it could take as long as it takes.
That's so good.
Yeah.
It's a lot of rules about yoga, that yoga is a religion. Do you feel this way?
No, definitely not. No. Well, okay, there's a difference between yoga and religion. In religion, if you do something bad, you have to repent or you're punished for it.
Okay.
In yoga, what you just get a chance to redo it, to just change it. So let's say you have a bad practice one day, in your mind, whatever a bad practice is. You fell too much, you were too angry, blah, blah, blah. Well, you have a chance to do it again the next day and not do that stuff. And if you fall the next day or get angry or frustrated, you can come back and do it again. No punishment, it's really just about accepting whatever happens without beating yourself up about it.
That's good. But do you do like chanting and...
I'm not a chanter, but I do meditate every day.
You do meditate?
Every day, yeah. And I feel like for me, that's the real yoga for me.
So you started meditation when you started to do yoga?
I wasn't even a meditator when I first started. No, meditation came much later. And I can't remember when. Oh, I remember. Something happened in my family. And to deal with it, my brother got really sick. And one morning I woke up at like 4:30 in the morning because I couldn't sleep. And I had been doing yoga for a while, and I was just like, oh, let me just meditate. I had just meditated a little bit here and there. And this was about a little over 3 years ago, 3.5 years ago. And from that day, I just started a regular meditation practice.
Like every day?
Every day, 10 to 20 minutes.
And how you just wake up and just sit
I
down?
wake up, have a glass of water, sit down, and whatever happens in that 10 or 20 minutes happens.
You just...
And yeah, you just...
don't listen to anything, you just sit.
Sometimes I listen to music. Most of the time, I just try to have one word, a mantra, some phrase that I can say. Internal. I don't say it out loud. Yeah. I'm not against chanting. It's just not something I've ever done.
Yeah.
But I like the concept. It's just not something I would do.
And what meditations for you? What the benefits?
Well, if I don't meditate, the way that I react to things during the day is a little bit more emotional than well, okay, so when I do meditate, my day feels a lot more even and calm. It's completely crazy because unless you do it, I try to explain it to people, but you kind of have to do it to really understand the benefits of it. Just that 10 or 20 minutes a day sitting down, listening to inhale, exhale, it completely changes your entire day.
But sometimes it's hard during the meditation. You have to focus, like forget about everything and just like keep mind on your breathing. But you have
right. Well, that's the thing. A lot of people think that you're supposed to stop your thoughts in meditation. It's impossible because the mind is trained to think.
Yes.
It's impossible to stop thoughts. All you have to do is when you're focusing on the breath or a thought, a mantra or a word, anytime you start thinking about something else, all you have to do is remind yourself of the breath or your mantra. It could happen 10 times, it could happen 1,000,000 times in that 10 or 20 minutes. Doesn't matter. All you have to do is remind yourself, this is what I'm thinking about, this is what I'm saying, because your mind, it's just going to think.
Yes.
Your only goal is to not let that thought trail off. Just keep bringing it back to either breathing or I like the one word mantra or a symbol, or look at a candle for like 2 minutes, close my eyes. And for my whole meditation, I'll think about what that candle looks like, how bright it is, how wide it is. And when I start thinking about food or what I'm going to wear, I just come back to that candle.
Okay.
That's all meditation is.
That's good.
It's not easy sometimes, but
it is.
It takes practice.
Yeah. Just to sum up, yoga, meditation, everything together, what will it bring to your life? I mean, what do you do it for? What the benefits you have?
I think, well, obviously the physical benefits. You're healthier
Okay.
just by doing the yoga poses every day.
But sometimes you can hurt yourself.
Right.
Overdo it, no?
Well, that's where the meditation comes in, because what meditation does, it helps you focus on your body when you're practicing the yoga asanas, so you can listen better and feel when something isn't right, so you don't go too far or push too much. I mean, I've been injured doing yoga when I first started, but that was back when I wasn't doing meditation. I wasn't doing meditation, and I just wasn't thinking. So if you're practicing yoga for the physical, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But you do have to listen to your body. And if you listen to your body, the chances of you getting hurt are really slim. But you have to train yourself to listen to your body. Did I answer that question?
Yes,
okay.
Perfectly.
All right.
Thank you. So another question is, when did you realize that you want to teach, that you want to
I
share
didn't.
your knowledge? You didn't?
I never wanted. It was never a goal to be a yoga teacher.
Certification.
The owner of the yoga room where I started practicing and now teach, the owner suggested I go to training. One day, I was taking class because I was there every day practicing. And when she mentioned I should go to training, I said, I'm not interested in that. So maybe 8 or 9 months later, she mentioned it again. And I said, all right, I'll look into it. And I looked into it, and I remembered that the teachers at the yoga room got free water when they taught. So I said, I'm going to go to training because I want free water every time. That's seriously why I went to training. So when I went to training, she gave me, it was down in Florida, Jimmy Barkin method, hot yoga. And when I came back from training, I landed from my training, it was about a month-long training, on a Saturday night. I was teaching Sunday morning, that next morning, at the yoga room. So it was never a goal to be a yoga teacher at all. Someone suggested it, and I did it. That's it.
And do you like it right now?
Yeah, I love it. I mean, it's not a job at all. I don't think of it as a job. I love it. I love practicing. I love teaching. So yeah, it's just no effort.
So a lot of friends ask me about how to start yoga, because right now there are so many types and methods and schools of yoga, so you're just like completely lost. Even like in the yoga room.
Right.
Iyengar, hot yoga, vinyasana, so many styles. How to choose one?
Well, you know, the yoga room was just a hot yoga studio in the beginning. So if someone is...
It's very important, actually.
If it was just hot yoga in the beginning, Bikram style, the 26 poses. If someone is, people ask me all the time, how do I start? There's so much information out there now. I will speak to the yoga room because that's where I started. There are a lot of beginner classes that you can go to at the yoga room. I think they're the foundation classes. If someone wants to start, I would just say, show up, just come to a class.
Any class.
A beginner's friendly class. Or there's plenty of videos on YouTube. It's kind of, there's so much out there. Do I have a favorite one? Is that what you're going to?
No.
Oh.
Do you have a yoga video? Your yoga videos on YouTube?
Do I have a yoga video? No.
Why not?
No.
We
It
should
just,
do it.
all right, there's another suggestion. Now that you suggested it. I really probably should look at some videos online just so I can suggest to people. But if you can't find a class a beginner's class, just go to any class. Just go. Feel it out. The yoga room has so many different classes people can take. They can just try different things. I mean, the hardest part is to get there. The hardest part for anyone is just to get into the studio. Once you get there, you're fine. Just show up, pick a class, and see what happens. That's what I would say.
Another big question. A lot of people are asking about motivation. What brings you to class? Or like even not brings you to start something, but even like when you started, you bought like expensive membership to a gym, or you bought this expensive, I don't know, running suitcase,
Right.
suit clothes, or whatever, and then you just after a couple of weeks you just I don't want to do it and quit.
Yeah, I mean, it's like everything. You don't want to get up every day to go to work. You don't want to get up every day to shower or whatever. It could be anything. I tell people, like when I used to go to the gym ages ago, you'll get the most benefit on the days you don't want to go. You don't feel like going because you're more relaxed, you're more in tune, because you kind of just don't want to do it. So to motivate you, I mean, it's not easy, but on the days when you really don't want to go, if you just go, it will make the days that you really do want to go effortless. I don't always want to go teach. I don't always want to practice, but I know after I practice, I'll feel great, or after I teach, I'll feel fine. So, like I said, just showing up is the hard part. You just have to kind of, get up and go. Like you have to eat every day, or you have to go to work every day. You make time for your practice, and it could be 10 minutes. It could be 15 minutes, it could be 5 minutes, but some sort of practice every day is better than nothing. Just for your overall well-being. Did I answer that question? Okay.
Thank you. And going back to your methods, why did you choose this school and going to Florida?
I didn't choose it. The owner of the yoga room, she told me, she said, I want you to go to this place. I had never heard of this guy, but she remembered him when she was in her training, and he opened his own school down there. And so she suggested it. I looked into it. It was sun salutations on the beach in Florida every morning for a month, and training all day. So I thought, why not? And it turned out to be a great decision because he and I are still friends, and he taught me to be a yoga teacher. He taught me how to be a yoga teacher. So I credit him, Jimmy Barkin, with everything that has come from that training.
So what's the main idea of that?
Be yourself.
Be yourself, that's it?
You can teach someone to read a script to a class, or I can teach you how to move your leg or your arm. But what he teaches is to just be yourself. Mm-hmm. Just be natural, have a conversation, talk like you're having a conversation with the class. And I think that's why my teaching is
So
most effective. I wouldn't say,
and popular.
you could say popular.
That's what I feel in your classes, because everybody have a chance. Just, you know, sometimes you come to a class and the people chanting and you don't know what they actually. I cannot hear what they say.
Right.
And like, okay, I'm just open my mouth and it's just like.
Or it's hard to follow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've taken classes where they chanted, and I didn't know. But I mean, and if that was my training, I would do it. But that wasn't my training. So my training was basically be yourself, and people will respond. Either they will like it or they won't. But as long as you're being yourself, whatever happens, happens. And luckily, you know, people respond to whatever I teach. So I'm just lucky.
No, you're just excellent. You know what else I like about your classes? When I'm in your class, you always, okay, we're in a hard position, let's say it's pigeon, right? And you kind of feel hurt right now in the moment, and you give us this teeny tiny, I don't know, not like jokes, and then you forget about your pain and you're like laughing and just like, hey, and it works. It always works.
And my teacher trainer, I mean, he didn't teach me how to tell jokes, although he was funny.
Do you prepare some jokes? Or?
No, do I prepare? No. It just comes out, whatever comes out. And a lot of people do accuse me of repeating my jokes, which is probably true, yeah. They're like, you've been telling that joke for like 2 years, but it works. I think to get people out of their head, because yoga is just feeling. Like if you can feel it, you know if it's too much or not enough. And if you're in your mind frustrated about a pose or falling or whatever, then you're not going to get the benefit out of it. So a little joke here and there will kind of take you out of your mind and relax you a little bit. Sometimes I can go overboard with the jokes, but for the most part, it's like, you know, it's not that serious. Just breathe and relax and let the pose happen instead of being in your head.
And you mostly teach hot yoga classes?
I teach heated and non-heated, both. I teach both.
And what the difference between them?
Well, I started hot yoga.
Which one is better?
I wouldn't say anyone is better than the other. I love both. They both have their benefits. The hot yoga actually will help you stretch a little bit deeper, but you have to be a lot more aware, because if you stretch deeper, you could injure yourself if you're not fully aware. I like the non-heated because I feel my body differently than in the heated room, but I love both. I practice both, I teach both, I love them.
So when it's like the teeny tiny line between going forward, like going deeper in stretching, and at the same time don't hurt yourself?
Well, Brian Kest, which is another mentor, so Jimmy Barkin, my teacher trainer, and Brian Kest is this guy out in California, Santa Monica. His mantra is find some place between too much and not enough. And if you're listening to your body, hyper aware, you know when it's too much of a stretch or when it's not enough of a stretch. And it's different for everybody. So my too much or not enough is different from yours. So really, if people, as a teacher, I try to get people to listen to themselves. You hear what I'm saying, but you got to listen to your body. The person next to you maybe can go farther or not as far as you. You don't want to look and compare. If you just feel your own body, you know when it's too much, and you know when it's not enough. So that's how I would answer that. Just find some place between too much and not enough, and that's your yoga. That's it. I mean, it's not like pain. You don't want pain.
Yeah, that's true.
A lot of people feel like pain means it's working, but that's not what yoga is about. It's just about feeling enough.
Enough.
Feeling enough.
That's good, thank you. And we're going closer to what I do. I teach yoga for kids. And what we do right now in our daycare, we teach yoga every day. Can you imagine? They go to the kindergarten, daycare, and they have yoga classes every day.
Wow, that would be...
Do you think it's good?
Yeah. I think daily is perfect for yoga. A lot of people will practice 6 days a week. Some of us practice 7 days a week. Yoga every day is perfect.
Perfect, but what is like ideal, the minimum and the maximum? What is your advice? How many days a week should be practiced?
Every day.
Every day?
Every
Do you
day.
practice every day?
Every day.
Really?
I don't take a class every day, but I practice whether I take class or I practice at home. Like I said, you don't need to practice for 90 minutes. Yoga is really about consistency. If you can do it every day or most days, let's say if you can't practice every day, practice twice a week, but practice every week twice a week if you want benefits. I practice every day. It could be 5 minutes of sun salutations, 10 minutes of meditation. So I don't think it's anything is too much. You can't practice it too much, in my opinion. Physically,
Too much?
if it could be too much physically, but again, if you're listening to your body and you're practicing every day, maybe one day you'll do a half hour, maybe the next day you'll do 5 minutes. But there's still a benefit somewhere, even if you're practicing every day.
Have you ever teach yoga to kids?
Never.
Never?
No.
Would you like
I
to
can't
try?
even imagine it.
Would you like to try?
I've never thought about it, but someone suggested I go to teacher training. So now that you're suggesting that, I might consider it. I think I taught yoga to teens once, like high school. I taught yoga to high school.
And in high school, it's usually, right now I'm teaching also in summer camp, and they have kids about 14 years old.
Yeah.
And they are not into physical activities at all. So this is the hardest age. Because kids, they are like, oh yeah, they're so flexible.
Right.
But teenagers, they are
a
the
little bit
opposite.
harder.
They
Yeah.
are like,
They're kind of all over the place. I mean, so I would, if I were going to teach teenagers, I would probably tailor it around, I would feel out the room first, but I think I could do it. Kids would be easier. Teenagers, the one class I taught with teenagers, it was a little out of control. How old are the kids that you teach?
I have a certification from 2 to 10 years old to teach.
That
We have little babies, like 2 years old.
Yeah, I wouldn't know what to do.
They just like, basically, in the beginning, they just look at you.
Right.
You just like circle for them. They're like, hey, let's do this. And you put the music and you dance.
Just something that they can pay attention to for
Yes,
at first.
and then you would see the progress, and the third or fifth time they would like do something. They will remember the music, they will sing it with you, and like try to imitate your
So
movements.
you basically do the same thing for a while,
yes.
and they catch on. Really?
Yes.
That's one of my mantras when I teach is, I like to be consistent. That's why I think people come back. Because if you're consistent, people can see where they improved. If you teach the same thing for a while, I mean, you can change it out once in a while, but like kids, if you show them something over and over, eventually they're going to start doing it. Like in a yoga class, if you're falling out of it Monday, if I do the same thing that I did Monday on Friday, and you came all those days, you're going to see by Friday it's different. You're not falling. You're a little bit stronger. I don't know how I went there, but I thought I'd tie that in somehow.
So do you still do running?
Nope. I stopped running. I started practicing yoga in 2000. And from 97 to 2003, when I stopped running, I ran about 45 marathons. I did yoga for 3 years, from 2000 to 2003, when I was running. And one day after a marathon, I thought, oh, I like yoga more than running. So I stopped running.
And why? Why is it? Why is
I don't know.
yoga not gym, not running, not...
Well, I've done it all. I've done gym and I've done running. I feel like yoga, physically for sure, I got what I needed, but it made me even more calm and relaxed than running did. I thought running did it all for me, but when I started practicing yoga more and more, I was like, oh, this is even better for me. I felt better. So I didn't need the running anymore.
Like, inside you
Yeah,
feel better.
internally.
Internally.
Yeah.
But what about it just for girls? If you want to have a great body.
For yoga?
I mean, what would you choose? Yoga or running or
I think yoga
just for the beautiful body?
Physical. I feel like running is so lower body focused that just from my personal experience, I think yoga is all over body. So I would say yoga. Not because that's all I do, but because I was a runner. I did go to the gym. Yoga, you can work out your entire body in one class.
That's good. That's what we need. That's why I think we have to recommend yoga for kids.
Right.
Not like just physical activities like, I don't know, but a yoga class.
Right.
Because I don't do just physical activities with my kids. I also read the books, like, you know, we sit around in the crisscross position and we just read the book with some fundamental yoga ideas.
I mean, and you need more than the physical part of yoga. You need all of it, because without the internal stuff of yoga, like the physical part really won't mean a whole lot unless you have all the other stuff that comes. You know, yoga mainly is just sitting and meditating. That's what 99.9% of yoga is. The physical part of yoga is less than 1% of what yoga actually is. So part of me, why I like it more than running or going to the gym, is because, yeah, I get the physical stuff, but I also get, like, you know, my reaction to things are different. I just feel better throughout the day. So that's why I would always suggest yoga over anything else.
That's so nice. And just to end up, what is your motto of the life?
My motto of life?
Yes.
Boy, I think it's changed. It used to be, you know what, it still is. Kindness.
Kindness?
That's it.
That's good. That's a good one.
Simple. Yeah, it's always been kindness.
That's good.
I wish I had a
very
more
much.
elaborate answer, but that's it.
No, that's perfect. Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
It was
Thank
a
you.
great
Thank you.
interview.
Are we off camera now?
Yes. Are we off?
You can cut that last part, right? Where I say, are we off camera?
Oh my god, that's 32 minutes.